You ever notice how the suburbs have their own sound? It's not silence. Not really. It's that gentle, sleepy whoosh of a sprinkler out by the curb, maybe the hum of a lawnmower 3 streets over, and sometimes this bored-sounding dove that coos like it's trapped in the same rut as the rest of us. My street is the king of all that beige, decaf travel mug, modern farmhouse monotony, 50 shades of gray, taupe, and if you're really pushing the envelope, grayish. And for years, I was the unbothered king of that little kingdom, sitting on my battered old Adirondack chair out front, the official seat of suburban wisdom, content as a guy can be. It was a Saturday. Not just any Saturday, a perfect one. 72 degrees, dry air, a coffee in my hand, so black you could see the void in it, and the grill out back warming up to smoke ribs all afternoon. I had just gotten a new doormat. Nothing fancy, just this cheerful thing that said in big blocky letters, "Hope you brought tacos and beer." To me, that was peak suburban comedy. Useful, friendly, and, most importantly, it set expectations. Sarah, my wife, came outside with her own mug, probably something herbal and suspiciously green. She looked down at the mat, shook her head, and sighed like a woman who spent a dozen years tolerating this exact kind of nonsense. "You really think that's funny, Dave?" she said. "Sarah, it's not just funny," I told her, sipping my coffee. "It's a screening process. Anybody who brings a Jell-O salad instead of tacos knows not to even bother knocking." She called me an idiot, but she was smiling. She knows me too well. Before she could turn back inside, a shadow fell across the porch, then a knock. Not just any knock. The kind of knock that could file a complaint. The "I'm about to measure your lawn with a clipboard" knock. I opened the door, and there she was, maybe 50, head to toe in Lululemon that looked like it had never seen an actual workout, holding a clipboard like it was a badge of office. "Excuse me," she said, voice sharp enough to slice steak. "Are you the resident?" I gestured to the mat. "I'd offer you a taco, but you're a little early, and I don't see any beer." She didn't laugh. Didn't even blink. "I'm Brenda from 412, she announced, like she was nobility. "I'm on a neighborhood beautification committee." I tried to look impressed. "Congrats. Didn't know we had one of those." She looked at my mat, her nose wrinkling. "Your mat has been flagged," she declared. Flagged. I looked down, as if maybe it had started beeping or was secretly Russian. "Is it a spy mat?" She didn't appreciate that. It's not compliant with the neighborhood's aesthetic guidelines. Now, here's the thing. We didn't even have an HOA. That's why I moved here in the first place. Nobody to tell me I can't park in my own driveway or have my own flavor of ugly. Aesthetic guidelines? I said, "Brenda, my house is literally the same color as yours and his and hers weight. Are we in an HOA?" And nobody told me. Her eyes narrowed to angry little slits. "It's an unwritten rule, which all respectful homeowners follow. This is a family-friendly street. Your mat is tacky." She puffed up, probably from all the Lululemon. "And it implies you're running a tavern." I nearly laughed out loud. "Brenda, I wish. Have you seen tavern profit margins lately?" "No, ma'am, I just like tacos. And beer as advertised." She checked something off on her clipboard with a sharp little flick. "It lowers the tone of the street. I expect to see it removed by Monday. Have a blessed day." She spun on her perfect sneakers and stomped off like she'd just dropped a royal decree. I closed the door, feeling like I'd just had a run-in with the beige police. Sarah was behind me, hand over her mouth, trying not to laugh. "She's a lot," she whispered. "She's a one-woman beige brigade." I grumbled. She flagged my mat. Sarah was already headed for the kitchen. "Just get a new one, Dave. Something with a duck or welcome on it. It's not worth it." She was right, obviously. The path of least resistance is the suburban way. Go buy mat with a pineapple or a duck, move on. But, man, it started to gnaw at me. This wasn't about the mat anymore. This was about principle. It was about being able to request tacos, politely, humorously, on my own property, without someone with a clipboard breathing down my neck. I sat there looking at my innocent, lovely mat, then at my boring, Brenda-approved driveway. And, well, you ever have one of those ideas that starts small and then just explodes in your head with a vengeance? That's what happened. Suddenly, I knew what I had to do. "Sarah," I called, already grabbing my laptop. "Where's the credit card?" She poked her head out. Why? Are you ordering a tavern sign? Something like that. But what I had in mind was way better. Monday morning, I was up early, ready for war. Not on Amazon, not on Etsy. Oh no, I went deep. Local event rental companies. After a couple of duds, I hit the jackpot with A1 Event Rentals. I got a real human on the line. A1, Bob speaking. I took a deep breath. Bob, I need a red carpet. The real deal. How long you got? He cackled. Hollywood package. 50 feet. Plush. Perfect, I said. I want it from my front door to the street. Bob sounded like gravel in a blender when he laughed. Who's the celebrity? Me, Bob. And my neighbors. And stanchions? Red velvet ropes. Every last one. He chuckled. You got it, kid. Wednesday. 10 a.m. Sharp. That Monday deadline Brenda gave me? Missed it on purpose. Wednesday, I was vibrating on the porch, coffee in hand, waiting like a kid on Christmas. When Bob's battered old truck showed up, I swear the whole street paused to watch. Out hopped Bob. Legend, cigarette dangling, tape measure swinging, ready for action. His crew yanked this massive roll of red out of the truck, and Bob saluted me like a general. Where do you want the wow factor to start, kid? Right at the tacos and beer mat, Bob. That's the VIP entrance. He bellowed orders, and the boys rolled out this river of plush, fire engine red, all the way from my front door, down the walkway, down the driveway, and out to the street. 50 feet of pure, uncut spite. Then out came the gold stanchions, red velvet ropes. My house wasn't a house anymore. It was a VIP club. That's when Brenda's front door flew open. She stood there, frozen, clipboard clutched tight, mouth hanging open. What is this? She screeched, careful not to touch the red carpet. It's a monstrosity. It's a violation. Bob stepped up, unfazed. Ma'am, it's temporary. Just like a lemonade stand or a bouncy castle. Fully compliant. He winked at me. I was in awe. Brenda sputtered. You're ruining the neighborhood. I'm beautifying, I told her with my best politician smile. For the beautification committee, right? She whipped out her phone. Oh, good, Bob whispered. She's calling 911. He was right. It took 20 glorious minutes for the cops to show. Officer Miller got out, tired already, took in the velvet ropes, the stanchions, the whole circus. Brenda launched into her tirade. Miller pinched the bridge of his nose. Folks, he sighed, it's 10:30 on a Wednesday. What am I looking at? I grinned, just replacing my tacky mat with something worthy of the street, officer. He looked at Brenda. Is it on his property? Yes, but, she blurted, it's visible from the street. It's an eyesore. Miller cut her off. Ma'am, as long as it's not permanent and isn't blocking the sidewalk, it's not illegal. Don't call 911 unless the mat attacks someone. Then he almost smiled at me. Almost. Try to keep the tavern under control, sir. I saluted him. You're a VIP anytime, officer. Brenda stood there, clipboard limp, utterly defeated. She stomped back inside. And I stood at the top of my red carpeted driveway like a suburban king, coffee in hand, bathed in victory. And then things got weird. Cars started slowing down, people filming. Even Sarah texted, Dave, what did you do? I texted back, beautified, just like Brenda wanted. The neighborhood Facebook group exploded. Some people loved it, some hated it. One guy wanted to call a lawyer, another wanted to know when tacos would be served. But the best part was Gary from across the street. At 5, he wandered over, beer in hand, stopped at the curb, and just stared. Dude, he said, on his voice. Welcome to the tavern, I told him, handing him a beer. Walk the velvet. You're a VIP. He grinned. This is art. Pure, spiteful art. But Brenda? Oh, she wasn't done. Next morning, I was woken by the sound of sprinklers. I looked out, and there she was in a bathrobe, testing her sprinklers, aimed directly at the end of my beautiful red carpet. The plush was soaked. Morning, Dave, she called with a wicked smile. Just making sure the beautification committee stays hydrated. Sarah pulled me inside before I could declare war on my boxers. It's just water, she said. But it wasn't just water. It was psychological warfare. That's when I called Bob again. Bob, we have a water-based situation. Brenda's escalated. He wheezed. You need the canopy. The grand arrival. Keeps out rain, sun, or rogue sprinklers. Got a 10 by 10, looks real classy. He was there within the hour. Up went the white canopy at the end of my driveway. Full-on red carpet premiere. Brenda was livid, called the cops again. Miller showed up, looked at the tent, looked at me, looked at Brenda, and just said, "Dave, don't make me come back here today." Then he sped off. But I wasn't done. I bought 2 inflatable wavy arm guys. One red, one blue. Wrote security on one and VIPs only on the other. Stuck them at the entrance. If you're going to be petty, be world-class petty. That Saturday, the tavern at 420 had its grand opening. Flyers, food truck, bistro lights strung up by Sarah, who had gone from mortified to my co-conspirator. Neighbors showed up, some for tacos, some just for the spectacle. Gary came with a tie on his t-shirt, clipboard in hand, head of security for the night. Kids rolled skateboards down the velvet. Even Chad, the property value guy, showed up for free tacos. It wasn't just a party. It was a community event. For a minute, I think the whole street felt alive. People laughing, music playing, even Sarah admitting she was proud, or at least entertained. Then Brenda showed up. For the first time, no clipboard. She walked the whole length of the carpet, all the way to my porch, the party going silent. She stopped, looked at me, then down at the mat. "All this because of a mat?" she whispered. I shrugged. "No, Brenda. All this because you're a terrible neighbor. But hey, you're a VIP. I held out a taco. Her face crumpled, rage, confusion, maybe even a hint of regret. And then, this was the twist. A guy I'd never seen before, pale as a ghost, walked on her lawn with a sign and a hammer. Whack, whack, whack. For sale, right there in her perfect yard. "We're moving, you idiot." Brenda screamed. "You cost us thousands." Our buyers backed out. They said the neighborhood was unstable. Her husband, Gerald, I'd learn later, just sighed. She turned and stomped back inside, careful not to walk on my carpet. Gary broke the silence. "So, does that mean the tacos are all for us?" The spell was broken. The party rolled on. 6 weeks later, Brenda was gone. The red carpet rolled up, Bob giving me a handshake and a 20% community discount. New neighbors moved in, a young couple who looked like the taco and beer type. I grabbed the old mat from my closet, walked across the street, and offered it with a grin. "Hey, just one quick question. You guys like tacos?" Because in the suburbs, sometimes the only thing standing between you and your neighbors is the mat at your door and the story you're willing to write across your driveway. So, what do you think? Was I right to go to war for my mat? Or was Brenda just trying to keep the peace? Drop your thoughts down below. Ever had your own neighbor showdown? Hit that comment button, tell me your story, and don't forget, bring tacos.